Welcome. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Paula Helgren. I'm the Associate Athletic Director for Communications here at the University of Toledo, and welcome to the Joe Grogan Room for today's press conference and our introduction of our new head women's swimming and diving coach. Before we begin, I'd like to remind everyone, if you could, just set your cell phones to silent. And just a quick note before we begin, after our introduction, we'll have a little question and answer session up here with Coach Dyer, and then following that, for our friends in the media, will have opportunities for one-on-one interviews, if you so choose, with Coach Dyer and student athletes. And with that, I'd like to introduce our Vice President and Director of Athletics, Brian Blair. Brian?
Good afternoon. How we doing? You know, in a weird way, it feels like we were just here doing this a week ago. I'm not sure where that deja vu is coming from, but really appreciate everybody being here today. When we add a new team member and a particular new head coach, we want to make a big deal out of it because it is a big deal. The impact they have on our student athletes is second to none. In our entire department, they shape that experience, and that's a responsibility we take incredibly carefully, and it's very intentional of why we're here today. So I want to say a couple thank yous. One, Nicole Alderson, our sport administrator for our women's swimming program. As many of you know, we were doing two searches side by side with this and women's basketball, and to keep everything straight, organized, and make sure we got the best candidates possible. Extreme debt of gratitude to her. Al Tomlinson, our deputy AD, critical piece of the search. Love how his mind works, the questions he asked, and how we vetted these proper candidates. Jen Nels, our athletic CFO. I believe she's here, but critical piece of the equation, a lot of insight, been here for a while, has a great understanding of the university, but also the community as a whole. And then Rebecca Lugo for setting these campus visits up and making sure our candidates, when they step foot on our campus, feel like this is a top-notch place to work. We make that first impression from the first time they step foot on campus and make sure it lasts throughout their time here. Lastly, I want to thank our student athletes, and I see very many of them scattered in the pockets here. I think when you have a coaching change and you're a student athlete, your world kind of flips upside down, right? The person that sat in your home and recruited you when you were 16, the person that's there every day on the pool deck, morning and afternoon, or you call for direction, or when something goes wrong, that person you call, when that individual that recruited you or is part of that life is no longer there, that's a major change in your life. And you only get 4 to 5 years to do this. And so every hour that we wait to making a decision is an hour you go without that individual in your life. So again, not a responsibility we take lightly, but greatly appreciate, one, your patience and trust throughout that process, from the Zoom to the conversations. We asked you for feedback on what we should look for. I know many of you gave that feedback, and we were able to review that as we went through our candidate pool. So thank you. One, for being here today, but two, for being here at Toledo and trusting us throughout this process and having the faith that we deliver you a top-notch swim and dive coach. Our team has always performed well academically, tremendous young ladies outside the pool. This search was really, how can we find that individual to lead us to higher heights, build on the foundation that we had, tap into the history of the program that we have, and continue to excel in the pool. I've said it time and time again, I want all of our student athletes to feel that experience for competing for a championship, getting a degree that they're excited about, and being excited about what's on the other side of graduation. So we definitely want to find our head coaches and get all our programs to that level. And with today's announcement, I feel really good about being there. We ran a national search process. We reached out to a lot of individuals, whether it was the Swim Coaches Association, a lot of sitting head coaches said, hey, who's out there? Who's the best and brightest? And I think what we came back to is me learning a lot during this process. So one, I learned that this was one of the most coveted mid-major jobs in the country. I learned that the MAC is one of the top swimming conferences in all of mid-major athletics. When you talk to coaches time and time again, they say, wow, that's a really fast conference. You got a lot of great teams, but you've also got a lot of recruiting talent within this footprint. We'd be excited to be there because we know as coaches, we can be great at where we're trying to go. And Toledo in this history has shown we can be a championship caliber program. And that's really important to a lot of individuals. We talked to a lot of qualified candidates. A lot of sitting coaches, a lot of up-and-coming assistants, Power 5, Group 5, whatever you call it, and everybody was excited about this opportunity. And word traveled fast in terms of the opening being out there and the amount of people that reached out that said, hey, I want to crack at that. I want to be able to have a conversation. It was really startling, to be honest with you. The other thing I found out is we had a record-setting Hall of Fame swimmer that was a current head coach at Fairfield. And as I talked to individuals, hey, do you know about Jacy Dyer? Have you talked to her? Do you know about her past and the history? And the more you dive into that and you see a Hall of Famer who set a ton of records, a 2010 top MAC swimmer of the year, a 4-time all MAC performer, and a record setter here. And then you say, by the way, she's also a sitting Division I head coach. And by the way, she just won a conference tournament with the team that she's at. And so then it was on the pursuit to try to figure out if we could land this deal and get her back home. And I'm excited to say that we did. And what I learned about her is she is a phenomenal coach, but probably even a better person. Somebody that's in it for the right reasons, that talks about caring for people flat out. Student athlete coaches, other that you work with. We heard tremendous things throughout the process from a reference standpoint. And that she's got this infectious energy when she walks into the room, and a positivity that works well from coaching standpoint, works well to be a great teammate in this department, but also works well in the recruiting trail. And it's shown all throughout her stops at James Madison, at Virginia Tech, at Fairfield, and then here at the University of Toledo. So, with no further words needed, please join me in welcoming our new head swimming and diving coach, Jacy Dyer.
Anyone that remembers me from my college years knows that I did not do a lot of interviews, and for a good reason, but hopefully I've grown up a little bit now today. So, but words cannot express how surreal this is for me right now, being back at my alma mater and being back at a place that helped me become who I am today is just, it's such a cool experience that I hope people would get to experience, but I'm just really, really happy that I get a chance to. Press conferences don't happen for swim coaches, so I just want to take this time to thank Blair for letting Olympic sport coaches to experience this and to enjoy this moment, because I have coaching friends that were asking about the press conference and just were so amazed by what Toledo is doing to show appreciation for their coaches, to show that they are a part of a family before they even step foot on campus. So thank you, Brian, for allowing this to happen. Also, before I got here, I had a lot of text messages from current coaches and administration and people that are working here. When you get a text from Jason Candle, a Division I football coach, and Todd Kowalczyk, the Division I men's basketball coach, it's a big deal, and you feel just so unique and just so welcomed and part of a family already before even setting foot on campus. So thank you to everyone who reached out. Thank you for everyone that is here right now that reached out to me and took the time to do that and make me feel welcome before I even stepped foot on campus. It really meant a lot and put a smile on my face every single time. If I did not get back to you on that, I'm still catching up on text messages, so I will catch up on that soon, I promise. But thank you. And I would definitely not be here where I am today if it were not for my family. And so I want to take this time to thank my family. None of them were able to make it, but I also didn't really invite them because they're going to watch the video, so it'll be okay. I promise I love them. They love me. It's a great relationship. But throughout the recruiting process, when I was being recruited to Toledo, my dad said, you should go somewhere warm. Go somewhere where it's warm, and you're going to love it. It's going to be great. And then my mom, as parents, they're like, go close to home, it'll be great. And I pretty much did the opposite of what they asked for. We have the lake effect here, and it's about an 8-hour drive from home, but I couldn't be happier with my decision here. Like I said earlier, I have grown so much as a person at the University of Toledo, and I'm just so excited to be able to coach young women and hopefully help them grow as well. But with my family, so they would still drive the 8 hours to swim meets, as many as they possibly could, to the point where my teammates would see them up in the stands and call them the Dyer clan. And it was so many of them. And when I say the majority of my family, I mean my cousins, my grandparents, my parents, my aunts, my uncles. It truly was my entire family at one point. And I just look back on those moments so fondly and I'm just so grateful for their support and their love. And I would not be here today without that behind me. So thank you to my family. Family isn't just the people that, are related by, that you're born with, right? I think family is also the group of people who help you grow as an individual and who are there during the great times and also the times that you feel like you are just defeated and not having a great experience and just really down. And those people were my teammates. And I am so grateful for my teammates who really helped me through my time here, and we had so many great times, and it was just looking back on all those experiences just still puts a smile on my face. And even being back on campus and remembering all of that and recollecting everything, it's so great to be back here. Sorry, I'm obviously very good with words, so great and awesome. You'll hear a lot of that. I'm just going to give you a heads up. And so, to my teammates, what we accomplished together have a huge impact on me as a human being, but also on my coaching career. You guys have helped me just figure out how to work with my student athletes, and then also how to help build programs and help build a team, because what we accomplished together was something truly great, and I hope to do that again as a coach. Thank you to all the boosters, for the friends of the program, and alumni I haven't had the chance to meet yet. You will meet me soon, don't worry. This program cannot be what it is without your support, and I look forward to building those relationships with all of you to continue to help this program grow. And team, so all of the ladies who are here, thank you so much for coming to support this. It means so much. I know you have only known me for like 4 days, but I really appreciate you guys taking the time. Those couple days that I've gotten the chance to get to know you briefly have been awesome, and you guys are great people, and I'm so excited to just get to know you even more, build on this excitement, and I just want to thank you all for being as excited, hopefully, as I am to coach you and to continue moving forward with this program. And thank you again for everyone who has brought me back home. Go Rockets.
Well, welcome again, Coach. Really appreciate you coming back to your alma mater. Not often that coach gets to coach at their alma mater. We talked a little bit about that. You touched upon that, getting back to where it all started for you. And I want to point out, and I don't think it was mentioned, Jacy's in our Varsity T Hall of Fame. So not only do we have an alma mater coming back, or you're coming back to your alma mater, you're also coming back as a Hall of Famer, and you're only the second Varsity T Hall of Famer who has come in as head coach in our history. So congratulations to that. So anyway, talk a little bit more about that and about what it means to come back to where you competed.
Yeah, it's just such an incredible opportunity, because I feel like so many coaches in this profession don't get a chance to do that. And obviously I'm a fan of Toledo. This is such a huge part of who I am. And you look at results and you just keep following them forever, so all sports too. And so it's just, for me, it was a place that I wanted to get back to and just see if I could, what I could do here, and it's just such a cool experience to be able to get a chance to do that, because it doesn't come around very often for coaches to be able to do this,
Right. Well, we hope to have you here a good long time. And now, it's been a few years, not a whole lot, but it's been a few years since you've been here. I was wondering if when you came back, especially when you came back to campus, when you thought, oh, this is the same, this is different, or if you even thought in those terms. What's changed? What's the same?
So I've been thinking about this, because so much of it feels the same. But I see obviously the improvements, like new buildings, some of my favorite restaurants that are still in business, which is amazing. So it makes me very happy. Some that unfortunately did not probably make it past COVID, but it's all right. I found other ones. But the university itself, though, it feels so much the same. But the different part of it is, it's like with new set of eyes. I know it's been over a decade, which is crazy to think about. And so it's just being away, coaching at different locations, getting to grow in my craft and in this profession, and just learn more and grow as a person as well. And then just to see it with a new set of eyes has been really cool to see. So that's really the only difference, which is pretty cool.
Right. Between being a swimmer here and also being an assistant coach, I think you're here for a total of 7 years. Is that right? So maybe it's a little unfair to ask this question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Memories that stick out for you, obviously championships and things like that, but maybe share some of the memories that you had, both as a student athlete, as an assistant coach here, that you want to share with us.
So actually, on the Zoom call that I had with the team, right after they announced that I was hired, one of the athletes actually asked me this question, which I thought was really cool. But so I'm sorry, you guys are going to hear a repeat of this, whoever was on the Zoom, so just be ready. But one of my favorite moments, honestly, the year that we won was my junior year, and it starts with the 200 medley relay. And at that meet, we weren't like we weren't a sure thing to win the 200 medley relay. You know, other events we knew we had a solid chance to be very competitive and win that year, but that 200 medley relay really set us off strong because they ended up winning, and it was just they won by barely anything. And I just remember the not the stress, but just like the anticipation of it all, and all of us cheering for each other, and you know, just that relay doing what they needed to do to kind of set off the rest of it. I was not on that relay. I was not a sprinter. By the way, I was a distance swimmer, so I stayed away from sprinting. So watching them race and win that relay was I think a huge part of what led us to that championship. So that was, I will never forget that. I'm actually getting goosebumps thinking about that. So it was such a cool moment. And then I have a bunch of other memories too with my teammates, which has been really fun. But then, I guess coaching, we ended up winning. It was my first year. I had been coaching for 5 or 6 months, but we won a championship that year. But we were able to take 2 girls to NCAAs that year. I think they're both in the Hall of Fame now, which is incredible. And one of them actually got 9th place, Laura Lindsay. And so just being on the pool deck at NCAAs, seeing that, and then being someone on staff that was able to see the University of Toledo getting 9th place at the fastest meet in the world was incredible. So it was pretty awesome.
That's great. That's great. So you mentioned it's been a decade since you've been here last. Maybe talk about some of the formative experiences you had in places like James Madison, Virginia Tech, and of course Fairfield, as we mentioned. What sort of stuck out for you as things that you learned and grew with in that time period?
I knew early in my career that I wanted to be a head coach at some point, so I knew that to be the best head coach I could be and be the best coach I needed to be, I needed to learn from other experiences and other people and other coaches and figure out the right style of coaching for me. And in order to do that, I had to move to different locations and different programs. And, you know, JMU, Dane Peterson is the head coach there, and he's still there, and he's done an incredible job. And I learned, you know, great ways and different styles of training with him, and he's incredibly organized. So that helped me try to be more organized. And then, you know, going to Virginia Tech, being able to coach Olympians and learning a completely different training style and different mannerisms. Like Sergio Lopez was very, very good at delegating, like, to the assistants on staff, because we had, I think, 4 or 5 of them. So, but seeing his leadership style and seeing his method of training and just learning his knowledge of swimming and of the sport was amazing. And obviously being able to say that you could coach Olympians is pretty awesome too. So I feel like I've learned a lot with that. And then Fairfield being my first head coaching job, I learned a lot in that too. Just a lot more about myself than really about the sport itself, which has been pretty cool.
Well, that's great. Tell us about China. Not often any of us get to go to China, much less coach an American team. What was that experience like?
Let me tell you, when I got that call to ask if I wanted to be the head coach for the women's team for Team USA, that has been a dream of mine. I knew I wanted to be a coach on staff for Team USA at some point in my career, but I was thinking maybe by the time I'm 50, that could be a good goal. And I'm not 50, for those of you that are wondering. It just was such, I cried. I called my mom, and it just, the tears were flowing. And it just, to feel that I had reached a goal that had been so important to me for so long, because as an athlete, I fell short of making the team for World University Games, and so that was something that had always been on my radar and something that I really wanted to be a part of. And so getting that call was probably one of my favorite moments of my coaching career so far. And China was incredible. It was, the food was amazing, just exploring the area around it. They're also accommodating. They're everywhere we went, people were getting videos, pictures. They were handing us gifts, like fans. I have so many fans. So if any of you guys, I'll probably bring some into my office, so if you want to check them out. But it was incredible. And just the way they ran the meet, we got to stay in Athletes Village. And from people that had gone to the Olympics and World University Games and Worlds, they compared it to the Olympics. They said it was very similar, and opening ceremonies felt like that. So to be able to experience that now, it's just really cool. It was awesome.
Great. That's great. You mentioned your family, but just wanted to ask you about mentors in your life, including your family, but maybe some other mentors who have helped you along your way in your life's journey.
Yeah, my mom has been a really big part of my life. Like every time I get in my car, I call my mom every single time. So we talk multiple times a day, and it's just she has helped me so much. Just as a person, she helps me grow, and she's always that voice of reason. Like, should you be doing that? I'm like, yes. And then I call her back. I'm like, no, you're right. I think we've all been there. But my mom is just an incredible person and a huge mentor for me. And then I was also thinking of this too, because obviously in coaching, we all have mentors. We have people that we can talk to, and we have coaches groups, hopefully, that you can reach out to people and really grow from them and learn from them. So I have a lot of support in this profession. But one person that actually really helped me in this profession was Kelly Andrews. So she was the sport admin that was here before Nicole. And Nicole is incredible, and I'm so excited to just get to know her. She's amazing. And so Kelly, when I was here as a coach, and they were actually hiring for a head coach, they apparently told all the candidates that they had to keep me. So Kelly was a really big part of why I'm actually where I am today. And I remember a conversation that she and I had, because she was asking me about my coaching career and kind of what I wanted to do, and I guess the timeline of, what I wanted to do and what I wanted to achieve. And I told her I wanted to be a head coach one day, and she's like, oh, what, like 5 years? I said, no, probably 10. And she said, no, that's way too long. And so at 10 and a half years, I called Kelly, and I was like, I'm a head coach. I told you. I did it. It was 10 years. I was right, And so she and I have stayed in touch throughout the years, and she's been just a great mentor to me. So it's just been like a really cool full circle moment.
That's great. That's awesome. You mentioned the team, many of them here today. Maybe talk a little bit about the message that you've already brought to them, and a little bit about what you're going to be like as a coach, maybe what you shared with them.
I can't give away all the secrets yet.
Yeah, well, okay.
But right now I think they've seen a lot of sarcasm, which has been really nice. But I think hopefully they understand how excited I am to be here, and I see so much potential in all of you. I think I've talked with a bunch of my coaching friends. I'm like, the talent on this team is insane, and so I'm just really excited just to get to coach you guys and move together and grow together in this. And I think we're just gonna have a great time. But as far as coaching style and stuff, I think what the feedback I've been getting from them, I think we align very similarly. So it's gonna be tough, but we're gonna get through it, and it's gonna be awesome. We're gonna have a great time while we do it too. So
great. Well, you mentioned the great turnout here for this, and I just want to kind of wrap it up and let you have the final word if you have any messages for Rocket Nation, everybody here, and everybody who will be watching on this video.
Sorry, I don't have a cool quote. I tried to think of one, but I wasn't very, sorry, Sarah. But so I want to thank all of you guys for the support, and I'm just so ready to get started. And I've always been a Rocket fan, and I've always been a Rocket at heart, and now this place to me is home. And so this is, I would say, one of the first places I can fully say that I am throwing everything into, which I have at every stop, but I mean, this is me. Toledo is who I am, and so it's incredible to be able to be me and be home. So thank you for welcoming me back, and I'm just excited for the future here. So.
Well, we're just very excited to have you back where you belong, and want to wish you the best of luck, and hope you're our coach for many, many years to come. So thanks a lot. Appreciate it. And good luck. Go Rockets.
Thank you. Go Rockets.